Hey you, do you hate child marriage? Yeah, we thought so. Most people do. Which is why it's so awful that it's still legal in Canada. And as to be expected, over 85% of these unions are between young girls and much older men. Does that disgust you? I'm sure it does. It disgusted me and my friend here too, so now we're running a campaign to get child marriage banned. But how, I hear you asking? And don't worry, we've got you covered, and the way you can pitch in is free, simple, and very easy. We've done our best to make this as convenient as possible. But first, we need to go over a couple other issues with our child safety laws. Trust us here, we promise this is very important. Child marriage isn't the only bad thing we need to criminalize here, we also need to criminalize statutory. See, in Canada, 16 and 17-year-olds are undeniably considered kids. They can't drink, they can't vote, they don't have the full rights of an adult, and appropriately so, because they're not. Any pornography of any kind depicting anyone under the age of 18 is unambiguously considered child porn, and on top of that, anyone under the age of 18 who engages in prostitution is legally understood to be a child prostitute under Canadian law. 16 and 17-year-olds are clearly children, and we even consider them as such under our own laws. Why, then, is our age of consent only 16? Yeah, the law allows fully grown adults to rape kids with no consequences. There is technically a clause saying that sometimes it's 18, but this is rarely enforced to the point where many officers don't even know it exists, and it's often humiliating and traumatizing for victims of this crime to have to prove that they didn't have equal power in this situation. And they shouldn't have to. This should be the default. In what situation does an adult ever not have an imbalanced amount of power over a child? The answer is never. Consent cannot exist in a situation wherein there is a power imbalance, the laws say so themselves, so the fact that we're subjecting obvious victims to a complete lack of care on a systemic level is frankly ridiculous, and we should be doing much better, especially in our grand year of 2026 now. Finally, we need to fix our close-in-age exemptions. Now, to those who don't know what these are, basically close-in-age exemptions exist to keep two kids of a similar age from being tried for for being intimate with each other. In concept, this is great. The UN even says that it should be part of the guidelines. The issue here, though, is that they are currently way too big and allow for adults to rape kids. Canadian law currently allows for a 19-year-old to take advantage of a 14-year-old, and a 20-year-old to take advantage of a 15-year-old. This is a kid in 8th or ninth grade getting taken advantage of by someone in their 2nd or 3rd year of college. That's disgusting. This needs to be changed. But how do we fix it? Well, the answer is pretty simple. We change it to a 2-year gap until the age of 18. The logic behind this is that, for example, a 15-year-old may date a 16-year-old with zero power dynamic imbalance at play, but it's possible, depending on when the birthdays line up, that this one here could turn 17 before the other one catches up, and that obviously shouldn't be considered a problem within these circumstances. In other words, this provides a healthy leeway period for young couples to engage in whatever activities they please without fear of legal prosecution, while also preventing kids from being raped by adults. So we've actually got 3 things here: ban child marriage, raise the baseline age of consent to 18, and amend close-in-age exemptions. But again, I hear you asking, what can I do about this? And yes, this is a section where we'll cover that, and again, we promise it's very simple. So every citizen of Canada has a member of parliament to represent them, and if you reach out to them, they are legally obligated to listen to your concerns regardless of their own political affiliations or opinions. They have to listen to you, and there are many ways to contact them. First, though, let's get into how to figure out which one is your MP. So, who your MP is usually determined by your postal code. You can go to this site and punch that in if you want, but we've also compiled all that info here into this Google Doc, and we will be showing a tutorial on screen on how to search up your MP. Now remember, this is completely public information. You're actually encouraged to contact them if something is wrong, so we very much suggest sharing this information with others and trying to get them to contact their MPs too. Now, speaking of contact, you can phone your MP, you can email your MP, some of them you can still fax, but the very best way from what we understand is to send them letters. And you can do that postage free, meaning you don't have to pay for stamps. But, now, I hear you. Writing a letter, that sounds kind of daunting, maybe a bit too much effort, but that's where the doc comes back in, because again, we've made multiple pre-made letters for you. There are some that are more formal, some that are less formal, etc., so you can pick one that feels most like you. Or you could make your own if you'd like, that would be great too, we just wanted to leave this as an option for the sake of convenience. So you can print out any one of these, mail it off for free, and then go on with your day. Or you could call, and email is still an option if you want to just copy and paste this into an email, because we get it if sending a letter is too much, and we want to make it clear that any and all contributions are still very helpful and appreciated. It may seem small, but this will have a huge impact. The more letters that get sent in, the more unignorable the problem will get. The more MPs this hits, the further across Canada we can get this to spread, the more calls that come in, the more letters that come in, making it very, very clear that we as Canadians care about this and want to ensure a safer tomorrow for all the kids in this region. The more they'll know that they have to do something about this. So please, join us. Send your emails, make your calls, send your letters. Protect our children from sexual abuse today.